to the Cutty and Govy show. We're in here, downtown Boca Raton, Delray Beach, Palm Beach. Weather's still gorgeous. Then those CM little bugs aren't out yet, but people are starting to leave town, Govy. It's starting to slow down out here. Gavy's in a great mood. All his stocks are coming back. NVIDIA, everything he's got is on a big run. He was miserable. Now he's happy. This market is uninvestable with Donald Trump. One day it's up, one day it's down. I don't know how you invest in it other than just buy an S&P fund and go away for 12 months.
Listen, I'm happy now, but I was always happy before. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, to tell you the truth. I am. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. And one thing I told you about, you only take a loss if you sell. This is the type of market. You just hold on. You got to believe that everything's going to turn around. You got to give it a couple months. Keep an eye on it, but it'll bounce back. You got.
But Govy, what do you do if you're a school teacher that you worked 40 years, you have $1 million in a pension plan, and now it's worth $700,000? You're panicking. You tell the stockbroker to sell it. How do they sit on it? They can't. They're freaking out.
You got to just sit tight. You only take.
That's okay if you have 10 or 20 million, but if you only have a $500,000 for the rest of your life, what are you supposed to do?
Well, someone tells you that the way the market's going to go, wait, and by the time November comes along, by the way, there's going to be a deal with China coming up. This whole tariff thing is, the one thing you got to realize about Donald Trump, he's a business guy that he's dealing in the United States with career politicians, and he's a business guy. It's the same for the world. All these world leaders are just politicians too. He has an edge on them on negotiating. China's going to come to the table. Like he said yesterday, it's not going to be a 145% tariff. It will come down. It'll probably be somewhere around 50.
I disagree. China thinks in years. We think in days, in quarters, in half years. China thinks for 20 years. I mean, I wouldn't play the long game against China. I'd make my best deal early and then keep chipping away at them. I don't know if I'd be in a stare-down war with those guys.
But China that always thinks in years, not in days, like you're saying. Well, times have changed. They better start thinking in days or sooner because there's going to be other deals that are made. And the United States is not going to be – we're not going to have them supply the world with their goods, with cheaper goods right now. We know that we need the damage that has been done from our towns to – dependency. We saw the COVID thing. It wasn't done by a bat. It was done in a lab. It could happen again. We have to be prepared for pharmaceuticals, supply chains, anything. We got steel, wars. We can't be reliable on other countries.
Well, I know this girl that I talked to, and she goes to the dollar store once a week. I've never been in a dollar store. I don't even know where they're located. Do you?
I don't think they're dollar stores anymore.
Or General Dollar.
No. I think they're like $1.75 stores.
Oh, yeah. But she's telling me, and I just bought it for my house. Tide laundry detergent that I paid $12 or $15 for, the jug one. She says it's $1.75 in the dollar store. Well, that's coming from China. When you're paying people in China $2 an hour to manufacture stuff, how's America ever going to manufacture that stuff here? If you're paying China $2 per hour to manufacture it, and you have to pay some union guy here in America $45, how are we ever going to be cheaper?
How are we going to be cheaper? Because it's going to be robotics. Because the future is AI technology. So if you think some guy is going to be making your sneakers, even in China has to worry. All they have humans that are doing all this thing. What happens if someone says to you, here's my factory thing with robotics going, that my one robot does the work of 100 Chinese people? I mean, you can't compete with the technology. As long as we're ahead of it, China's in trouble. Their big asset is their cheap labor. What happens if all of a sudden you can bypass the cheap labor? Then what's China?
I agree with you. Well, at least I'm going to give Trump.
That was quick.
No.
That was a quick little.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you have some good points here. I didn't think about the robotics, and they're going to be all around. But one thing Trump is right about is gas is way down. I'm paying $3.23 at the Exxon station in Deerfield Beach. As I told you before the show, my truck holds 22 gallons, and next to the gym, it's $5.23. I save $2 a gallon. Times 22 gallons is $44. Figured that out of my head. $44. If you found two $20 bills on the ground, you'd pick it up. It's worth driving 2 miles to save the money. That's why I still think China's going to stay in the game. It's just so much cheaper.
You know what? I just got to say one thing. It's pretty funny, though, with gasoline. down here in Boca Raton, Florida, one exit really to the south of us is Hillsborough, which is Broward County. We're in Palm Beach
I
County.
know.
And like one exit to the north is Delray, which is it's not Boca Raton. Both places, if you go right or left, the gasoline is a lot less. It's funny to see people getting gasoline here when all they have to do literally is travel 45 seconds in each direction, and it's $1 less.
Well,
it's $20 to go 45 seconds.
In Florida, you're not allowed to have full service. They don't have any gas stations that have full service. I mean, you have all these fancy women in their Channel outfits and Christian Louis Vuitton or whatever the shoes are. Why can't you open up a gas station and charge $7 a gallon and do full service pump it for them?
I don't know.
I think these women would pull in their Bentleys and pay $7 a gallon.
I don't think so.
Why? Do you
Because-
think they know how much gas is?
I
These
think
fancy ladies that go to lunch all day?
I think it's a stigma. I think people would be looking at someone getting out of their Rolls Royce or their Bentley and seeing someone pump their gasoline and saying, they would just it's a negative connotation.
All right.
Unless you're in a state like New Jersey where they don't pump, you can't pump your own gas in New Jersey.
Let me ask you a question, Govy. Your wife's all dressed up. She's going to a luncheon. She's off from work for the day. Her gas light is on. She's got her pretty outfit on. Does she feel like taking a chance of getting gas on her hand or on her fancy shoes or her skirt?
Well,
Would she pay $2 more a gallon to have somebody pump it for her?
she wouldn't pay $2 more a gallon.
She wouldn't?
And she's used to it. It's like, so everybody's used to it now. It's not like if I said to
Remember
you.
up north, it used to be full cert. You had a line, full
Oh,
cert.
you're going back 20 years? You're going back 20 years. I'm sorry.
I'm getting
but
old
it's,
fast.
Yeah, it's 20 years ago. So they're used to it now. You're going up to, it's like if you went up to a younger person, you say, can you Xerox this for me? They wouldn't even know what you're talking about.
That's funny.
You know?
Anyway, talking about fancy women, I have to read all these magazines, Touch magazine, the National Enquirer, because my daughter quizzes me and I have to make sure I'm up on these current events. Now, this Lauren Sanchez, the one with the exploding boobs, we talked
I
about.
thought you were going to say lips.
The exploding lips and all the plastic. We talked about it in the last 2 weeks. I understand the wedding in Aspen was called off. The invitations have now gone out for the wedding, which is going to happen in a month. But it was called off because there were problems with the negotiations over the prenuptial agreement. I'm trying to understand how
She's an idiot.
how there could be problems negotiating. She's marrying a guy that is $200 billion. What is she asking for? What does she have different than all these other women walking around on the street that she feels she's entitled to anything more than zero? I mean, just the sheer gifts alone will be tens of millions of dollars. Earrings, bracelets, clothes, whatever the hell else she gets from the guy. I mean, what is she asking for that she can't sign a prenuptial agreement that says zero? You get zero. You get to live in these mansions. You get to have a nice life. You get a fancy car, yacht, all this other stuff. And whatever drips off of the edge, you get to keep, which is more than any American has in their life anyway.
I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me, I'm worked up, Govy.
It's a little crude.
I want to know how this guy, Jeff, she's been married 3 times before, and she's fighting you on a prenuptial agreement. Wake up, dude. I mean, did you see her with Leo DiCaprio at the Grammys, where she nearly, grabbed him and pulled him into the coat closet? She was so excited.
Calm down there, Cutty. Calm down. Wow.
To meet Leo DiCaprio. What are you negotiating, Jeff? You rip people's lungs out in Amazon. You're a ruthless, cold-hearted business guy. Grow some spine here.
I'm going to tell you what Jeff feels.
Tell me, please.
Okay, it might be a little crude, but you got to remember, Sanchez is one of her husbands was a big-time agent, but before that,
She cheated on him with Jeff Bezos.
I agree. So let me finish. So her other husband was Tony Gonzalez. He goes down as maybe one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the NFL. Matter of fact, he's probably the best tight end that ever played for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons. And by the way, he now has a job working for Amazon on Thursday Night Football. So that only helps out her child also that she has with Jeff Bezos. Tony Gonzalez, first of all, is a good-looking guy, 6'4", 220 pounds, chiseled guy. Jeff Bezos, before his steroids, was a scrawny little guy with no hair. And he said, what will it cost me? So all of a sudden, why is she with him? Well, it has to do with money. So if it's about money, now she wants to negotiate because that's what the whole thing was about.
I understand, but why? I don't understand how this guy can be so blind to this. I mean, she has all this.
He's never had anybody like that before. She's got
all this plastic surgery on her face. She's got these exploding boobs. I mean,
what
does she have? What does she do to him that makes him so nuts? I mean, what could she possibly do?
He feels like he goes home, puts a cape around his neck, and he feels like a superhero. And if someone can make him feel like a superhero, something that he's never felt his entire life. He still remembers maybe being picked on in 3rd grade, in 8th grade, and high school.
The guy left his wife, gave her 33.
He left his wife after he had Sanchez.
I'm saying, but he gave his wife $33 billion for Sanchez. Dude, go out and have some fun for a year or two. Sanchez will still be around. Well, don't jump from one to the other and give up on this prenuptial.
Well, maybe she feels that if you gave $33 billion for her, just pretend it was $34 billion and put $1 billion down for me. What's the difference? 33, 34.
So he's paying to marry her.
Tell you what, don't even give $1 billion. Just call it an even $250 million, $250 million.
Why does he have to pay her to marry him?
Because she's giving up.
What's she giving up?
Part of her life right now. I don't think he's going to do it again.
God. Anyway,
did you see him? You saw him faceplant after she came out of that rocket.
Yeah.
So she has something going on that he wants.
Let's go over the wedding list, Govy. Because we're not on it. I know you're heartbroken. Cutty and Govy are not on this wedding list. Maybe, the invitations are out.
Can I just ask if
maybe
your favorite?
We could crash the party.
Can I just ask if your favorite person's on the list?
Ivanka Trump is on the list.
She is. See?
Well, don't they live next to each other in Indian Creek or wherever that fancy island is?
And they go to Aspen together now?
They go to Ivanka Trump, who is basically dished from the Trump family because she turned her back on her dad. November 6th or 7th or October. What was the date?
January 7th.
January 7th
January 6th is when, the shit hit the fan.
When was the riot?
January 6th.
No, that was the inauguration.
No, that's when the January 6th. How many times did you got to see them play January 6th?
Oh, when Biden went into office.
No, it wasn't Biden. It's when they raided the Capitol building. It was January 6th.
Yeah, January 6th.
So she said so long on January 7th.
So long, Dad, I'm going to Florida with my husband that you made rich off all the deals you got in Saudi Arabia. She ditched him. So she's on the list. Then, of course, you got Oprah Winfrey. She's on the list. You have Kim Kardashian. She's on the list. Look at the people that are on this list.
You got everybody
these people. Is Pete Diddy going to get a jail pass to
everybody that went up in space is on the list. Gail King
Leo DiCaprio's on the list. Is Laura Sanchez going to go a little nuts when she sees Leo as she's walking down?
Is Bill Gates on the list?
Bill Gates, I don't have on the list. They have Katy Perry's on the list.
I knew that. She's getting hammered in the middle. She looked like a fool. Did you ever, by the way,
Orlando Bloom's on the list.
Did you ever see a $1 billion company in Wendy's decide that they are going to tweet or X saying and make fun of her? That's unbelievable that they said, I kissed the ground and I liked it. I mean, they went after Katy Perry. I think it's great.
I mean,
free publicity. Costs nothing for Wendy's to do that, and everybody's applauding them.
I mean, society is ruthless, folks. The Democrats are killing us. The Republicans are killing us. Hollywood's killing us. Everybody. It's called frenemies. They act like your friend, but they're actually your enemies. I'm glad Govy and I don't have that kind of relationship, even though he's getting paid a lot more for the show.
I got to ask you one question.
It is starting to bother me, though, Govy.
Yeah, with the Republicans and Democrats, I got one thing that we can all agree on, and I think it's important. The Secret Service right now, since we don't know who shot, we don't know the particulars yet of Butler, Pennsylvania.
Which is insane.
How long it's been.
They shoot a president and you have no idea. I mean, it has to be the CIA or the government, Obama or somebody tried to kill him. That's why they're crushing it.
But I thought that. But, I also think that they're incompetent. That for so many years, that let's look at it this way. You have the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, is at dinner with her family in Washington, D.C. She has several Secret Service around her.
She's got to have 20.
Okay, around her, because especially with all the hits that are coming
the immigrants, what she's doing, she's got to have 20, 30 Secret Service
agents. Explain to me how somebody wearing a mask, an N90 mask, can come up and steal her handbag that actually has her passport, her badge, $3,000 in cash.
Why does she have $3,000 in cash?
It was Easter, and she had all her grandkids and stuff. She had 20 people,
God.
and she was going to give cash. That's no big deal. If she walked around with $500 and she gave away $2,500, it's not the end of the world. It's like, why does someone have cash on Christmas
But
Eve?
who carries cash? First of all, nobody carries cash. But who has $3,000 in cash on?
She
them?
took it out. It's Christmas. It's like you give each person, here's 200, here's 200. She had her whole family.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, how does someone go up and steal her handbag that was by her feet? She put it down. It was by her feet as she's at the cashier to pay. Now, explain to me how someone can walk past the Secret Service and take it, and they still haven't caught the guy yet.
Well, the interesting part about it is if she had a Birkin bag, it's worth $25,000. They would have stole the whole bag. Instead, they stole the cash in it. But this is what I don't understand. I mean, you have the Secret Service at Butler, Pennsylvania, since you brought it up. They shot a president.
Josh Shapiro, the governor.
But how can you not have any information? You have the guy they shot as president now. Kash Patel's in there. You have Pete Hegseth. You have all the players in there. Pam Bondi. Why don't we have any information? Why the guy was cremated in 5 days? Why the roof was immediately power washed? Why CNN was the only rally they ever broadcast? Why don't we have any information? I have a theory, folks.
I know, because you know what your theory? I understand
What's
your
my
theory.
theory?
Because you kind of said it to me a couple weeks ago, and I agree with it. Your theory is that they have information that is so unbelievable that they have to dot their I's, cross their T's before they can tell you that it was either the CIA, that somebody tried to take him out.
Biden, Obama, somebody put a hit on him.
They can't just say that. They have to be 100% sure, and that is what's taking so long. You can't just say if you were running for office, you could say anything. But now that he is in control, he can't just say anything. He has to be 100% sure. And I think they're getting close to that point that they're going to tell you, like,
They have
who it
to
was.
be 100% right.
I mean,
they can't say, the deep state tried to kill a president unless they just have overwhelming proof.
Well,
but it must be something like that.
Well, they did have a president that didn't know where he was for 4 years, and they actually had the audacity to put him out and tell the country, we're going for another 4 with an auto pen. So, I mean, if they're doing that, they're just telling you this is what we're force feeding you. And then you didn't like that, he messed up, we'll throw Harris out there. So I think it's something pretty big, and it's going to come out.
So let's talk about Pete Hegseth. I mean, he's in a controversy again. It seems like Donald Trump, Secretary of Defense, folks, it seems like Donald Trump is defending him. But I just don't understand, how you can run the Defense Department and have a leak. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that there's leaking.
Because
military plans, strikes on the Houthis.
Well, they got the leakers. They fired them.
But he hired those.
He did. But what they didn't realize is there's now a difference of philosophy. For instance, one person feels that the United States should not, or Israel should not attack Iran. That they should try to use diplomatic relations. That has not worked. And we don't have time. There's a time that if they get the bomb, if they get the nukes, you have a headache like you do with North Korea. So there is a time limit out there. And if you disagree with that, either you agree with it or you disagree. But if you disagree with it, like Pete Hegseth's guys, they started leaking out this information to sabotage the guy.
There's a very popular podcaster in town. His name is Skinny Joey Merlino. And a lot of his shows, he talks about the federal government and the rats, that the federal government employed, to rat people out in terms of the alleged mafia. I mean, how is this any different? These people are working for the Secretary of Defense, the rats.
It is. It's similar.
They're working for this guy to advance the defense of America, and they're undermining him. What are they doing? I don't get it. Because they should be put in front of a firing squad.
Because they think they have a lot of support with the deep state. They think they have
who's supporting them?
Maybe they think the Nancy Pelosi's, the Chuck Schumers, the Dick Durbins.
Okay, wait a second. You're putting people up in an F-16 to go bomb the Houthis, whether they're Israeli or Americans. That person's life is at risk. You are risking a military person's life by ratting out and leaking information. Our guy could die. The Israeli guy could die. because somebody has to leak something out?
Listen, I think they're pawns in the scheme of things,
God.
and I think that's there's so much craziness between states and how you feel. How about that? For the last 3 weeks, you heard Pam Bondi say anybody that does anything to Teslas, we are going to prosecute them with the full extent of the law. We are not going to negotiate. You're going to be looking at 20 to 30 years in jail, and they have caught a couple people. Now in Minnesota, they actually catch a guy that supposedly keyed like 20 cars, and he's walking with his dog. So they have the dog and him on all these different cars. The police caught him. The DA says we're going to let him off. They're going to put him in a diversion program or something like that. The bottom line is that's not fair. If Pam Bondi's saying that Tesla should be like a terrorist, ingrown terrorist crime, prosecute the guy. It shouldn't be that the governor of the state, which is Walz, who was cheering for Teslas to go down, is going to basically pardon the guy. I like when they.
I mean, that's pretty harsh, though. 20 years. I understand you're not supposed to face a proper
20 cars. I mean, like
a year a car. I mean.
Well, let me ask you a question. What should he do?
Have you
should
ever
he
been drunk in your life? I'm not saying it's
he
okay
didn't do it
to
all in one night. He didn't do it all in one night. If he just thinks,
okay, let me tell you.
If he just wakes up every day and say, "I'm going to key a Tesla,"
Let me tell you my experience. I'm coming out of the gym on Saturday in Jupiter, very fancy area. It's called West Palm Beach. Let's call it West Palm Beach. And I'm on PGA Boulevard, very fancy area. There is a 2-mile rally. Okay, with people who are holding up signs, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, he's a dictator. Whether you believe it or not, they're messing my ride home. I can't get down the road. They're blocking the traffic. They're standing. I'm ready to I'm angry. I'm cursing. Get the frig out of the road. I want to move my car. I mean,
Well, our country, the funny,
it's a messed up deal.
But the crazy part with our country is there are certain subjects that it's 80% feel one way and it's the 20% that's the other. For instance,
I didn't have an opinion on what they were fighting for. I had an opinion that they were blocking a public road and I couldn't go home.
But where Trump is now touching the pulse of the country is you got a bunch of these crazies that are out there that they try to get up. But for instance, there's in California, there was this illegal immigrant. He killed these boy and his girlfriend. He got 10 years. He got thrown out of the country twice, was arrested like 15 times. He was drunk going excessive speed and killed him. He got 10 years in jail. He's being paroled early, 7 years early, that he only has to do 3 years. The families of the victims were notified on Easter. They're going crazy. They were crying on TV today. Pam Bondi today and Donald Trump sees this on TV. That's what's great about Donald Trump. He literally looks at the news. He was unaware. He's now on a low-level thing. He's now aware. He says, we will have Holman there with ICE as a retainer. We are now charging him federally for coming back, and he's looking at 30 years. So he would have been better off serving 7 years and saying goodbye, but Trump is going to put him in jail for 30 years.
Well, I'm not going to agree with that. I think he deserves to be punished, but I'll give you another argument. I'm watching this Robert De Niro, and I like him. I thought he was great in the movies. You should hear the vitriolic hate that is spilling out of his mouth. Have you heard this guy?
Well, is he at the Academy Awards?
I can't even watch the guy in a movie anymore. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with his content. I'm just saying it is so evil what he's saying. I mean, it shouldn't be spoken. And guess what?
He says, I want to knock him out. I want to punch him.
Yeah, and he's saying he's a mutt, he's this, he's that. And I'm saying, I'm buying a ticket to go see you in a movie because you're a great actor. Right. I don't want to listen to this crap that you're spilling out. I don't agree with any of that hate. The hate's bad. But this is what America is subjected to now, this Whoopi Goldberg, this Robert De Niro. Whether you agree or disagree, who are they? Are we supposed to listen to them?
Well, everything gets...
I guess they're paying us to listen to us, right?
But I think the far left hijacked a lot of the parties. For instance...
Well, the far right did too, Govy. Yeah, I mean, the far right's far right too.
Here's an example. In England, they just had their version of the Supreme Court just ruled that there are two sexes, men and women. Men can no longer, if you're a biological male, born a biological man, you can no longer participate in women's sports. That's what our country's like trying to figure out right now.
That's what Donald Trump's trying to figure out.
And now England, the Prime Minister of England, who is gay, has now just said, I agree with that decision. So it's common sense type of things where our country, like for instance, the LGBTQ, everything was great. No one really cares about gays, transgender. No one cares. Everybody wants everybody to get along. There's not a problem. It was the transgender, the ones that forced it and threw it in your face, that is actually setting back the movement for the LGBTQ, because they're like, they're vicious.
How'd it get so popular?
The transgenders.
Is it the bathing suits that the guys or the girls wear
No,
that
I
have the
think it's-
giant sock in the middle? You know, and it's
No, it's
supposed
the
to be
transgenders that are deciding that I'm going to be on the
But it's
men's
got to be such a small minority. I mean, how
Then
is
why
it-
are they making a big deal? If it's such a small minority in sports, why is it that if it's 1%, why are you making it acceptable? Just tell them that they can't participate in women's sports.
I think everybody. I agree with you. 80%. You know, I'm not even going to fight this issue
By the way,
because it's a stupid issue.
if you want to like do anything,
I'm not going to do a Cisco and Ebert with you here, folks. I'm not going to argue with
I'm
you.
just saying that's where it kind of
I'm
went.
agreeing with you. But I mean, how about this Shannon Sharp? I mean, look at this knucklehead. I mean, I don't get it.
Gone in
How do
60 seconds.
Going in 60 seconds. Left foot, right foot. Survival guide for business and life, folks. We have a chapter on it. What is with these people? I mean, are they out of their friggin' mind? Tell our audience the story. Who was Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp was one of the greatest, also tight ends in football. Since I'm now giving you the best tight ends. But anyway, he was on Fox Sports with Skip Bayless.
Maybe makes $40 million a year as an announcer
He's now with Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
And he was a little bit of a wild card. He has this podcast called Club Shay Shay. And,
but that's just entertainment.
And he's with Ocho Cinco, and they talk about a lot of sex.
Yeah.
Ocho Cinco, it's very funny.
Yeah.
And they talk about a lot of sex and everything. And Shannon Sharp talks about he likes young girls and all this other stuff, in their 20s.
And he's
stuff.
probably, what, 60? 55?
He's like, 58, something like that. So there's this one girl that in her 20s that basically wanted to have his child, wants to be taken care of. She makes no bones about being a gold digger. She wants to be paid if he comes over. She wants $50,000. So she is claiming she was raped by him. So he decided that his legal counsel told him, I want you to post all the text messages that she sent you over like a 2-year period. And these text messages are unbelievable. I mean, she's saying like, I want you to tie me up. I want like stuff that's so vulgar that it's unbelievable that Stephen A. Smith said, I know that you wanted to get your point across, but I think your career could be over. I mean, ESPN's going to get rid of him.
But why do these guys that are in the public limelight, why do they expose themselves? I mean, they have to know they're a target. I don't get it. Why would they put stuff in writing? What are they doing?
Well,
aren't they thinking? I mean,
well, she actually, I think, had his voice. She recorded him.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, isn't that against the law?
I think you have to tell him. I don't know.
I don't think she kind of told him. But the bottom line is his career's over. But he's not at Gone in 60 seconds because it's only the 30-second mark right now. In another 30 seconds, it's over.
It's over.
His career's over.
Because she said he choked him and she likes, or something.
It's on a recording that he said he would do it. But anyway, even if he didn't have that, just him saying his things, Stephen A. Smith is like, love you. But it's time to say see ya.
Yeah, see ya. And Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp are partners and brothers like us, Govy. And he's throwing them over the ship.
2 weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith is on Hannity pounding his chest like, hey, I might run for president of the United States.
But Stephen A. Smith is now sitting there and saying, yo, my brother, what the frig are you doing?
I can't run for the United States presidency now because you're my podcast partner.
Yeah, you're putting this stuff in writing. I mean, who is doing this stuff? I don't put anything in writing.
I couldn't run for president if something bad happened to you. I would be linked to you.
Now, Govy, when you talk on the phone, if you're going to have like an off-color conversation with somebody, are you careful? Always in the back of your mind, you're thinking maybe you're being tape recorded. I mean, let's say you're in an argument over a watch. You're not going to, and somebody's, you're not going to threaten anybody, or you're not going to say I'm going to hire a lawyer. You're not going to do any of
I'm
that.
never really in those type of situations. I'm always would be more careful of what you put in writing in a
You're
text.
selling watches to a lot of these NBA players that aren't really, nothing against the NBA. They're making a lot of money. They're young. They're maybe not so sophisticated. They're originally from the streets. Maybe you get on a heated phone call with a guy where, he says, I paid too much for this watch, or maybe it's not what
No, it's not. It's not.
But are
like
you
that.
careful
And
what
they're
you
not
say
even.
on
By
the
the way,
phone?
a lot of the guys in the NBA, they're not from the streets anymore. They're actually sons and children of other NBA players, and they're growing up. By the way, living really nicely.
But my question is, who is not being careful of what they say on the telephone? Or putting in writing for sure. Nobody's putting anything threatening.
Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump to Zelensky.
Pete Hegseth thinks he's on a secure line. If I'm Secretary of Defense, I'm assuming every phone call I make is on a secure phone.
Again, why do you think Benjamin Netanyahu came here?
Yeah,
because Donald Trump did not trust any lines. He said, "Bibi, get your butt here because we're talking about Iran. We're going to let everybody think that it's that we're talking about tariffs."
Well, that's
wink, wink.
That's funny. That's the first time I saw the Oval Office since Donald Trump took over. Have you seen the Oval Office? He has put gold everywhere. He has gold on the mantle. He has gold above the mantle, and he has pictures every inch in the Oval Office.
He's actually designing the outside. Did you see that? I
saw that.
And he's paying out of his own pocket.
I've seen him do that at the golf course so many times. He pulls up immediately. He grabs the head groundskeeper or the guy that's in charge. Now, he's president of the United States. He's fighting with China. He's fighting with India. He's fighting with the European Union. And he wants to know why there's so many balls on the range, why the cart hasn't gone around and picked up all the balls on the range. Why are there so many balls on the range? And I'm like saying, this guy's president of the United States. What is this guy doing?
Listen, with all the people making bronzes for him right now, there's the bronze with his hand that's up in there, fight, fight, fight. There's the bronze with him, being, sworn in with his wife. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts bronze statues all over the White House, so when the next president comes, they have to put all this stuff in storage. This guy is making the White House.
Oh, he's personally involved. And
outside now. I love the outside that he's doing.
Yeah, now he's walking the grounds, and he's talking about cutting this tree down and he does that. I've seen him on the golf course. Walk around, I want trees here and here. I want a new sand trap here.
By the way, you know what's great, though? When he is outside for this Easter roll, he calls it the egg roll, I love that he has to sit there to the cameras and say, "Do you remember the last Easter bunny that you saw?"
He just can't stop.
He can't stop with Joe Biden because that Easter bunny actually had to help Joe Biden. This one, is I don't know. But
and then Melania was in that trench coat. Was it that cold in Washington? We're down here in gorgeous South Florida. Was it that cold that she had a big, heavy trench coat on?
How many days a week do you think she sees him?
I think, she's, we condolences obviously to the all the Catholics out there. This Pope I thought was a great Pope. I guess.
Did you?
Well, in my life, I've seen 4 or 5 popes. Do you think 4 or 5 popes?
I don't. He wasn't one of my favorites, to be honest with you.
I thought he had a lot of guts. I thought he had a lot of guts.
I thought he was too left.
I don't know. He was left, but here's a pope, and I don't know exactly what the protocol is supposed to be other than religion. I thought it was just religion, but he was moving into social issues that, are kind of scary areas for a pope to stick his finger out into. But condolences to him. Now, Melania and Donald are going over to his funeral on Saturday. So I'm wondering, who is the inner circle on Air Force One that gets invited with Donald and Melania?
I'm going to tell you one person that's lucky.
Who gets to go? Do you think Elon's on that trip?
Yeah, I do. But I'm going to tell you who I think was pretty funny.
We should put some money on this. Who's on the trip?
Well, I'm going to tell you one person I know who is. Trump takes care of all his friends.
Right.
And a lot of his friends are at his country club.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you one guy who happened to have been in his post for 90 days, is the car guy.
John Arrigo.
John Arrigo. So
he was the former club champ, John Arrigo.
But he is a big car guy down here that sells Toyotas or
Dodges.
Dodges.
Arrigo,
Meanwhile,
Dodges.
He decides that he's going to make him the ambassador to Italy. He has a seat there.
I should have taken that job.
Italy would have been a great one.
Well, he's already over there, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm saying he's still.
Oh, man.
It's still a big thing. You know, he's
In
going to be
40
right
years,
there.
how much weight you think you gained being an ambassador
By the
to
way,
Italy?
a Jewish guy would love to be like an ambassador to Italy. What a great country
Oh
that
my
would
God! So he's there. Does Ivanka get on the plane?
be. No,
She wants to be on that plane.
she wants to be on it bad. You know, but it's not happening.
Does Barron go?
No.
Barron's son, he doesn't go. How about Don Jr., Eric? How about
No.
Laura Trump, who's everywhere? She's, in New York on her
No,
Saturday night
yeah,
with
you
Laura
got something
Trump.
with,
Does she get
with that Dolan, Cardinal Dolan.
Oh,
will-
he's there. Yeah, all the Cardinals are there now picking the new
Yeah.
pope, 122
so,
of them.
So you have that, and maybe you might have Hannity. Maybe will go.
Hannity,
David
yeah.
Muir has to be there because he thinks
Right.
was his buddy. I just got to give you one little sports stat with,
Yeah, sure.
with Pope Francis, by the way. Name the only team in the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. There's only one team in all those three sports that hasn't been to the playoffs the entire tenure of Pope Francis.
Oh, my God. There's
Only one team out of all those leagues. There's only one team that hasn't made the playoffs in
You're
his
talking
entire
baseball, football, and basketball?
Yeah, there's only one out of all
How
of them.
is that possible?
That hasn't made a playoff in his entire tenure of being the Pope, and it's the New York Jets. That's how bad the New York
that is
Jets
funny,
are.
the
Just want the
Jets.
New Yorkers out there to know. I'm a Knicks fan,
The
and I'm
Giants made
cheering
it
for
with
you, but the
Sheila-
Jets,
yeah.
what an embarrassment that is.
Giants made it with Sheila Manning.
And another crazy
What a great question.
And another great stat. Listen to this one. If you want to know how great Tiger Woods was at golf, if you take the year 1999 and 2000, those 2 years, he won 4 majors and 17 tour victories. That's more than Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, and Jordan Spieth have in their entire career.
That's amazing.
In their entire career, he did in that 2-year period. That's how great he was during a 2-year period.
So do you think he plays on the 50 and over tour when he gets
No.
up? He's 49 now.
I don't think so.
I think he's done.
I think what he did, and you listen to these other people, how he tried to change his game. Some people say he never should have tried to change
So
his
does
swing.
Vanessa Trump and Tiger get to go on Air Force One to see the Pope? That could be yes.
Is Tiger religious?
I don't know. But if he is, that's a yes. Tiger Woods
Yeah.
gets to go on Air
Vanessa
Force
could
One.
be 5 kids. She's,
Yeah. I'm sure. That'll be interesting. I want to know who that guest list is. Does Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez get to go on that list?
I don't know. I bet you George Clooney.
Bezos is Jewish.
I bet you George Clooney goes. And
Does he?
Emil. Doesn't he have Lake Como? He's up there.
Lake Como. Yeah, you could sneak in back through Lake Como.
Throw a little
Rome,
Emil
yeah.
and stuff like that. And maybe you might see, you might even see Joe Biden there.
No way. There's no way. Maybe
All right, what do you want to bet on Joe Biden? I say he is there.
10,000.
Jill wants to go.
Jill might want to go, but Joe Biden's not making that
He's
trip.
got the beads out.
Would Donald invite him on Air Force One?
No.
Does he get rights? I mean, as an ex-president, if like a head of state dies, isn't there some protocol that they automatically get to go on Air Force One? They travel together?
Well, there's a couple of other Air Force One. There's 2, but
Yeah.
maybe he puts them on like a B-52 and let them sit with the rest of the troops.
Right. Let him sit
But
in
I think he-
tourist.
I-
Joe wouldn't know the difference. Joe, you're going to the beach. Okay.
Right, maybe they just tells him he's going to L.A. or something like that. So there was...
So let's talk baseball real fast before we end. I mean, it's hard to believe. I think we're at like 27. I think we're at like the 40th game or the 35th game already.
We got the Mets doing very
It's
well.
crazy. 35 games already.
Yeah. But they're
it's-
every night. They're like...
I know.
But it's basketball playoff time right now. The New York Knicks, they're tied at 1-1 with Detroit. I need the New York Knicks to win Game 3. Game 3 is a very important thing. I would like them to go on. I'm cheering for the Los Angeles
so wait,
Lakers to
Govy,
lose.
if the Knicks make it all the way, does the Cutty and Govy show get to go to the
parade?
Yeah. How about the last game? Can we go to the last game and be there when the Knicks hoist the
We can
trophy?
do that.
We can?
And I'll tell you what.
Whoa,
I know
folks,
I got
you heard that
I know
here.
I got a seat.
He's on record.
I got a seat on the float going down
Do
Broadway
I
if
have
they
a
ever
seat?
win.
2 seats?
I can get you a seat for
All
it. We'll
right,
be the
I'm
2
in.
of us together.
Can I get a watch too? I'll wear a D. Bethune.
But yeah, I'm cheering for the Knicks, but I think it's I really believe it's going to be the Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City team, and Oklahoma City is going to win. I think Oklahoma City's only going to lose 2 playoff games the whole year, the whole postseason.
Well, it'll
That's
be
my,
interesting. Yeah. I mean, Basketball is exciting. It's a shame that it's so many games.
So, quick question for you: when people are making like dumb things, I want to just go back to one gone in 60 seconds. There's a judge in New Mexico. His life is great. He's a federal judge in New Mexico. His wife goes out to the Home Depot, picks up a Tren de Agua gang member, but she wants him to do some yard work. And all of a sudden, he's doing the work, he's working hard, and she wants him to then live in the house. The Supreme Court of New Mexico finds out.
It's like that Beverly Hills Bum with Nick, whatever his name is, that movie with Nick.
They find out that this federal judge has a Tren de Agua gang member.
An idiot. I mean, what's wrong with these people?
He had to resign and step down. He got fired. How does a guy give up a career?
And you get a pension for your life, and when you die, your wife gets that pension for her life.
What would make him say, I couldn't get a regular worker? I needed a gang member.
Did he know it was a gang member?
Yeah.
These people are retarded.
So I don't get it. And then you have there's another murder, by the way, in Maryland. There was a woman that was killed by two illegals from Guatemala. I mean, this senator from Maryland that went to El Salvador, does he have to go to Guatemala now? I mean, like, he's going to be flying all over for these, like, idiots.
The world's nuts, folks. That's how we're ending the Cutty and Govy show this week, and we do want our sponsor, Just the Mail, just deliver the mail. It's not Republican mail. It's not Democrat mail. It's just the mail. And we're doing a lot of businesses now, folks. If you are a business out there, we do discount shipping for all businesses, or our sponsor does, Just the Mail. So give us a call. We're on Federal Highway in Boca Raton, and we'll do discount shipping for all your business needs. Which is good, yeah. I mean, we have a lot of supplement companies. There's, with a lot of people going up north, Govy, for the winter, for the summer, and they already have their plan of supplements down here. These supplement companies call us. We'll do discount shipping to all your snowbirds up north.
It's a great business. Now, just the last thing. Tomorrow is the NFL draft.
Got it.
New York Jets, you're on the clock. Again, we can count on you and the Dallas Cowboys to mess this thing up, and the New York Giants, and you can only say, go Birds.
So what pick do the Jets have? Do you know?
Jets are in the top 10.
What are the Eagles?
And the Giants are like number 3. The Eagles are the last pick, number 32.
And what'll be the number 1 pick? What position?
It's going to be a quarterback. Cam Ward from University of Miami.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for a great show today. We had a lively debate. It's Siskel and Ebert right here. I'm Ebert. That's Siskel, or whoever we are.
Next week, Cutty will give you what the gasoline situation is down here and the prices.
Here,
since he plays the gas station.
Yeah, I'm saving $2 a gallon here.
He plays the pumps.
I have enough money for dinner. All right, folks. Have a great week.
See ya.